Hello, my autumnal peeps. This is Kat, aka Kakibot, and welcome to our fourth and final video of our honeymoon series here from New England. And this one is going to be all about Vermont, which is the home of maple syrup making and apple cider brewing and squishing. Also the home of Burlington, where you can visit the world's tallest filing cabinet. So that is something that we're gonna do tomorrow. Today the plan is to wait until the fog lifts at least a little bit, because it is like 2 degrees right now. Surprising, but it kind of like plays into this mountainy fantasy. And then we're gonna explore the town and all the surrounding farms, and maybe even pop by Ben & Jerry's factory. Alrighty, let's go! Am I still in there?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
In our last honeymoon video, we just left New Hampshire. On our way from there, we saw the super neat Conway Scenic Railroad, although there was no time to actually jump on board. If you're also short on time, I still recommend stopping by Conway, as it was a really friendly, cozy little town with amazing shops to visit. Stowe, which, just a warning, throughout this video I will just keep mispronouncing as Stowe, really is just the most hallmarky, picturesque little town I've ever seen. Despite the fog, or maybe thanks to it, just walking through its short high street felt just so charming. One of my favorite spots in Stowe was the Laughing Moon chocolate shop, which to my great despair has actually closed since last year, only to be replaced by a larger local chocolatier store. So, you know, at least there's still gonna be chocolate.
Hello! We are in the Cold Hollow Cider Mill, which is just a little drive away from Stowe, and we're gonna try and get some apple cider donuts, I think.
Apple cider, what we call the fresh juice of New England.
Oh, that's really good.
So we are at Cold Hollow Cider Mill. We got ourselves some hot cider, which is not hard cider. I think they differentiate it differently here, so it's not alcoholic, it's basically just hot apple juice. And we got some cider donuts, and we got 2 free ones because of screw up at the counter, which, fine, let's try them.
But he went back to return them.
Yeah, I tried karmically to make things good, but they said, have at it. So.
Well, and Karma said, here's extra 2 donuts. Mini trip time. Just above our hotel in downtown Stowe is the Von Trapp Family Lodge, which nowadays is a really cool looking hotel, very alpine, but fun fact, it also is connected historically to the family which inspired the Von Trapp family in the Sound of Music musical. Yes. I think that even if you're not interested in that sort of like historical connection, this is a really cute spot to see views of like both sides into both the valleys, and there are also some hairy coos. Oh my god, I can't believe my luck whenever I run into some hairy coos. Like this video if you also love hairy coos. The hills are alive with the sound of mooing.
Towards the end of the day, we thought we deserved, well, yet another treat. Or maybe two. First up, local cheddar from Cabot's farm store. We bought a bunch to take home and, no kidding, we have been saving one of them until the day of me recording this, August 31st of 2023. Now that's gonna be extra mature cheddar cheese. And of course, you cannot visit this area and ignore the Ben & Jerry's factory. I could spend an hour reading the little poems at the Flavor Cemetery while also getting extremely frustrated about the fact that I never got to try any of these. We also picked up some delicious coffee ice cream, although it did hit a bit different in the 8-degree weather than it did back in Boston, where I was getting too warm walking around in a dress. Day 2, time for a big trip to Burlington and beyond. Burlington is a university city which is at the same time the largest in the state, but also the smallest city in all of the United States that also happens to be the largest of its own state. Okay, I hope that made sense. Plus, they do have that world's largest filing cabinet. After a lunch of baked goods, we were off to the Lake Champlain Scenic Byway, a series of islands and bridges with wonderful views of both the lake and the sun setting over surrounding mountains. The islands are very scarcely populated, with working farms, vineyards, and a little church, the most relaxing afternoon drive for this passenger princess. The drive was relaxing for the driver too, until we hit Smuggler's Notch, which during the day counts as another one of Vermont's scenic drives, but makes for a bit of a white-knuckle drive at night.
How's it going, babe?
It's peachy. Sincerely hoping not to meet another person going the other way. But I did just see some lights in the dark there, so I think it bears a very real chance of happening. Yep.
There he comes. Yep. Okay. Okay. he's blinking at you.
You can't see that, but
Sorry?
you won't be able to see.
check-in time, or I guess in our case it's check-out time, because we are leaving the Field Guide Lodge, which, by the way, a super cool little hotel here in Stowe. I loved the attention to detail in their little like ski lodge social area. Amazing little fire pit. They never turned it on, but I guess that we could have asked, but we never did, because I never want to sit next to the fire pit, because that kind of implies that I want to socialize with people, and I don't. Anyway, we are off to another part of Vermont now. We're going south. I'm excited to see how the other part of Vermont looks. We will be taking route number 100, which is supposed to be like Vermont's spine, and it's one of those scenic routes. US is really good at giving you like lists of scenic routes. They call it like the scenic byways, and in Vermont, like when you look up the map, it's like all the roads here are scenic. So it's actually kind of hard to avoid scenes. So yeah, we're gonna take you with us, and you're gonna see the scenic routes, and you're gonna see the south of Vermont with us. And yeah, hopefully we are all gonna have a great time. Let's roll.
The drive down to Ludlow has been pretty chill. We stopped by Montpelier, the actual capital of Vermont. Unsurprisingly, another very pretty city, especially covered in all the autumn foliage. And then we were off to continue on Route 100 with a little stop for a lunch and secondhand bookshop in Rochester.
Okay, so we're doing our lazy thing tonight.
Yeah.
Also cheaper thing, because eating out here is restrictively expensive.
Yep.
So we like to, like every other night or so, we like to go to a supermarket or get a hot dog. But yeah, we kind of like always get a couple of things. Like today, we got some like veggies and some Chex Mix and a thing of cold brew. And also in our fridge, we have carrots and bread and butter pickles. Guys, we love bread and butter pickles. There's a bunch of cheese that we're planning to take home, some salami, some like dippy things like guac, and 2 hard-boiled eggs. Yum. And
No.
also some artichoke dip back there. So I'm kind of sad that artichoke dip is not a thing in Britain. I think that we deserve artichoke dip. Artichoke dip is great. He came back with more drinks. So what drinks do we have?
We have a full in Vermont, and I got another one of today's specials.
Yay.
There you go. Yeah, you got it?
Yes. We made it to the Vermont country store. We came here with one specific goal in mind, which was to get a plush bear, a big plush bear that our friends back in Salem had. And they only had a smaller version, but they called the other country store, which might have the larger version, so we're off to there now. We're gonna have some other stops on the way, don't worry. We're gonna hopefully see something nice and hikey. But yeah, basically the goal for today is to get me a bear.
Last full day in Vermont, we did a little loop around the southern area of the state. The plan was to go all the way down to Brattleboro and then take an alternative route back up to Ludlow. This is an area extremely rich in covered bridges, so of course we couldn't miss out on those.
Why are we here?
We are here because we pre-reserved a bear for Catchy.
Okay, fingers crossed,
Fingers
because
crossed.
we need this bear. Hi. What happened?
They didn't have it. They've screwed up.
Aw,
Grumpy face.
aw, you super wanted to get me the bear.
Full transparency here, Simon was extremely bummed about this. Not even the pies have managed to perk him back up after our bear fiasco. But to be honest, this was also a moment where I thought, well, out of all things men get upset about, I am glad I married one that is sad about not being able to find me a plush bear. Also, fast forward a couple months, Simon has now managed to order me said bear who has bravely traveled across the ocean to now be one of my favorite plush companions. Yay!
And so, this is the end of our day of exploring covered bridges here in Vermont and trying to find a bear, even though then we realized that at least back in Acadia we got this little bear, which is like his totally mini brother. But yeah, at least he will fit in the suitcase, so maybe that will work out for the best. We also had some pie. We have also visited a lot of local villages and towns, and we saw a cool waterfall. And unfortunately, that really brings us to the end of this trip, by which I mean the trip to Vermont, but also kind of the whole honeymoon trip. This is the end of the last video, because now we are off to Boston. We are going to be there for 4 nights. Some of it will be admin, we will see some friends, and we just thought, you know, there was no point in bringing you along for this last bit, just because it might get stressful for us. Anyway, this is a thank you if you made it all the way here, especially if you watched all 4 videos. We really appreciate it, and it, you know, it makes us feel connected to you. So thank you for that. Hopefully you enjoyed the little journey with us as well. It has been obviously a very special one, and I have to say that this place has lived up to my expectations and beyond. I keep finding it funny how when I was imagining how this area of the States would be, it was kind of like a weird combination of places that I already know from the UK and like stuff I know from movies. There were so many towns here that looked like too good to be true. A lot of them were very Gilmore Girls-y, but also there was a lot of like rugged woodmanciness around. And of course, I also learned a lot about that specific New England like vintage Halloween look. It's that whole over the garden wall aesthetic. And yeah, if you like these videos, even though this was a bit like off-brand, if you like the content I make, you can always support me by getting something from my Etsy store. There's going to be a link in the doobly-doo, currently shipping throughout UK and Commonwealth countries and US. If you're visiting Edinburgh, you can also buy some of my stock in Scottish Design Exchange or Pie in the Sky. Okay, I feel like I don't want to end this video because that will make me feel like our honeymoon is ending, even though we do technically still have those 3 days. But I don't want to get emotional, and I had a super nice time, and I guess that's gonna be a final goodbye from us. Come. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we will all love to rewatch these videos forever.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.